Alright guys, welcome back to this Minecraft programming series. In this video, this is part 20 of this series, we're going to be programming the hotbar and we're going to be adding in some more blocks. And more specifically, the brick block, the glass block, and the wooden plank block. So, let's dive straight into it. So this is where we left off last time. We added in some water and we made it so we can go into the water, and the water sort of generates automatically in infinite terrain generation, and we made a water level and so on. And then we also edited the code of the trees to adjust the code of the water and so on. But yeah, so to start off with, go ahead and delete this. So this is what we did in the last episode or part. Go ahead and delete that. And yeah, let's just start programming. First of all, if you go to the directory of your Minecraft folder, or I'm just going to show you mine. So into texture, you can see I've added in glass, brick, and plank. I've also added in stone, but I won't add that into the game now. If you want, you can change it. So right now we're going to have 9 blocks in the game. So in the hotbar, nine sort of blocks. And you can change it so that there's stone instead of brick or something. And you'll see what I mean when we get into the code. But if we go into the glass folder, you can see there's a glass.png and it's transparent. You can see the background is transparent. So if I hover this, yeah, whatever. It is transparent. Make sure it is transparent because then you won't be able to see through the glass, right? Because the glass is transparent. Then we have brick. You can see it's also a brick.png. And plank, you can see that's the classic Minecraft wooden plank PNG and so on. And just to let you guys know, I've actually gotten most of these blocks from Minecraft Classic, because we are sort of building Minecraft Classic, the very first version you could say. And you can see that up on the screen, for example, I've chosen these blocks, and there aren't a lot of types of blocks in Minecraft Classic. For example, there is no sandstone or any terracotta block and so on. It's just a very simple blocks. Okay, so I've only chosen some very simple blocks. Maybe later in this series I'm going to be adding in every other block in Minecraft Classic. And of course, if you want, you can add in terracotta or for example sponge. But the thing about if you add in sponge, for example, you will have to code it so that the sponge also absorbs water, which sponge should do that, and in Minecraft it also does that. So yeah, good luck with that if you decide to do that. But yeah, first we have to add these into this program, so this program knows that we're going to be adding in some types of blocks. So firstly, let's go ahead and code the hotbar. To do this, go to the HTML part of the code, so above the script, and yeah, you can put it in between these script tags and this image tag over here, and just write this over here. Okay, and it's really simple. It looks kind of complicated, but it's really repetitive and really simple code. So firstly, I've created 9 image tags because in the hotbar you have 9 slots. If you want, you can make 10, but that will sort of affect the code because I'm going to be making it so that there's exactly 9. Okay, so first of all, how does this work? For each image, I'm going into the texture folder and then locating the image file, basically, so the image texture. So for example, the first one, texture/cobblestone/cobblestone.png. That is, so first texture, cobblestone.png. Okay, and then each of these has a class of hotbar because they're in the hotbar, and they also have a unique ID. For example, this one is slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, and so on. Okay. And the reason why we want to give them a unique ID is so we can position them. Okay, if we give them a class, we can say we can tell the program to make them all into a square and to make them all look similar. But with a unique ID, we can give them individual positions. Okay, so in that way, it's kind of efficient, you could say. So right now, we're going to be writing some CSS to position these hotbars and these slots and so on. To do that, I've written this code over here, which again looks complicated, but it's really simple because you can see over here it's really repetitive. Firstly, the .hotbar class, it's going to be we're going to be adding some properties to it. First of all, each slot will have a width of 5%, What does that mean? It is basically 5% of the screen's width, so or actually of the window's width, yeah. And position absolute, because we want to change the position also. And then from the top 85%, and you know, I just put in these values. If you want, you can change them, but don't try to change the width because that is sort of related to this. But I'll explain how all this works, okay? And then I gave it a border of 2 pixels solid white and an opacity of 0.8, which makes it slightly transparent, okay? And now, for each of the slots, I positioned them uniquely. So for example, the first one, 27.5% from the left, second one, 32.5%. So what are these really specific values, right? That's what you're thinking right now. But basically it means that I've done it so that each slot makes up the hotbar, so that each slot is right next to each other, and the whole hotbar is right in the middle of the window. And that's quite easy because we can see from the left, the first hotbar is 27.5%, and the last hotbar from the right is also 27.5%, because actually, you also have to add the width of the slot over here, which is 5%, so then you'll actually get 72.5%, which is 27.5% away from the right. So they're like equidistant from the edges, basically, and that makes it so that the hotbar is right in the middle of the screen. Alright, so yeah, hopefully you got that. It was a bit complicated. There's some math here, but it's quite easy. Basically, yeah, you just have to make sure that each of these hotbars each of these slots are also 5% away from each other. So this is 5% away from that, this 5% away from that, and so on. In my case, it's 5% because I chose the width of each slot to be 5%. So now we'll just go into the JavaScript part and just write hotbar, and then we'll just make a hotbar variable. So first one we have cobblestone, and then with dirt, then grass, then oak leaves, and then oak log, sand, glass, brick, and plank. All right. So firstly, just to ensure that each slot is like a perfect square, we can make it so that their height is the same as their width. And I'm pretty sure, because we didn't specify the height and only the width, the height is automatically 5%. But just to be on the safe side, we can say that its height is also 5%. But if we write height is 5% over here, it's going to think that it's 5% of the height of your window, which is not equal to the width, right? Unless your window is a square, obviously. So let's go into the JavaScript and make a for loop. So for var I is 0, I should be smaller than document.get elements, so make sure the S over here, by class name. Now what's the class name? That's hotbar, and then dot length, because this over here is actually an array, so we have to say dot length, right? And then I++. Now we have to edit each of these slots, you could say, or divs, or sorry, images, and say I in a square bracket dot style, because we want to access the CSS property, or CSS property. Style dot height, okay, is equal to now 5%, that's 0.05 times the window dot inner width, okay, because it has to be the same as the width, right? So dot inner width, and then all of that dot toString, because we want to convert that into a string, and then plus pixels, okay? And the reason why we don't have pixels for this is because, it's like 5%. It's not like 5 pixels, it's 5%. But in this case, we have pixels, because we're like calculating what the width is, basically, like discretely, okay? So now we can actually copy this and go to the resize function, which is over here. You can just do Command F, or if you want to find it, it's in around line 1570. and we can just paste it here just in case the user, resizes the window or something. But once again, I'm pretty sure that wasn't necessary, but just to be on the safe side, we now fully are 100% sure that that the slots will be will be a square. Okay. So guys, we actually haven't fully added the blocks into the game yet. Now we actually have to add like the blocks into this array over here, make some textures, and then add it to this array. Okay, and then we'll be done with creating the blocks. Okay, so first of all, copy this, paste it, and change it to what was the first one? Let's check. First one was glass, then brick, then plank. Okay, so first glass, and then we can also make a brick, and then a plank. Okay, so now we have to like change these values so we access the corresponding files and the texture. So this one is glass. I'm just gonna copy this, paste it over here, paste it here. And make sure you change this into a PNG if your file is a PNG. In my case, it is. So PNG, PNG, PNG. Oh, and that's a PNG. All right. Now we do the same thing for brick. So I'm actually going to copy this and paste it over here because both my files are PNGs, and so I don't have to change the PNGs. So brick, and then plank. So this one is going to be brick. Yeah, so it's basically a really repetitive task. You just copy paste all of these values in. And now last but not least with plank. So plank. And if you guys want, I can show you that each of these images are PNGs. So glass.png, brick.png, and plank.png. So what's next? Now we have to go over here, just copy this, paste it over here, and what was the first one again? Glass, yeah, glass. And now the material array is going to be glass texture. And then over here we also have to say glass texture. And it can be in any of the biomes. You can place glass in any of the biomes, obviously. And now copy paste again, and this one is brick. Okay, and then brick texture, and also over here brick texture. And the last one, and make sure you remove this comma over here. Okay, so this one is plank texture, and plank texture. So we're almost done. Also in this array we have to say glass, then brick, and then plank. So now we've like actually added in the blocks, okay? But not quite, because if we place the glass block right now, it's actually not going to appear transparent because we haven't told the program that the texture is transparent. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. First of all, we can say var glass index over here is equal to block types.index of glass. Then similarly, like we did in water, we set the opacity. We can do the same thing with glass. Okay, so we just do for, we're going through like all the sides of the glass material. So making glass transparent. So for var I is equal to 0, I should be smaller than glass texture dot length and I++. And now I'm just gonna copy this over here, paste it. So blocks glass index dot material array of the I dot transparent is true, and that's it. You don't have to set the opacity, because I think then the white parts of the glass, so if we go like over here, then these bits will also be transparent, and you don't want that. You only want this to be transparent, not like these individual pixels over here. All right, so now we've like added in the blocks. Okay, so let's let's see what the result is right now. Okay, so go over here, save and refresh, obviously, and you can see it took a bit longer to load because there are like more images right now, but you can see the hotbar is over here. It looks pretty good. We have all the types of blocks in the world right now, apart from water, because waters, you can't really place a water block, right? So yeah, that's pretty cool. And the thing is, right now, if we place a block, it's going to be oak log, because we've set the variable, which is block to be placed, equal to oak log. We don't want that. We want to make it so that we select the number in the hotbar, and then it places that block, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so first of all, we have to go to the key down function, like every time when we place a block. That's over here, okay? Around line 477. Over here. So, var block to be placed. Go ahead and just remove that, okay? Because we don't want it to be an oak log every time, right? First of all, we want this to be a global variable, so we can change it outside. So var block to be placed is equal to, actually just declare the variable, all right? And make sure that this is like right above the key down function, just so it's like sort of related to the key down function, so it makes sense to place it over here. And now guys, we can also create a slot variable, which is slot equal to 1, which basically decides what slot number the player just selected. And we can quickly write this bit of code over here, which I've done. It's quite simple. Once again, looks complex, but it's really simple. First of all, we want to say that if the user clicked either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Okay, how do we do that? We just say if the e.key is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So a way to do that is by saying by making an array over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and saying if it includes e.key. All right, so we can write that like this in this bit of code over here. Basically, this array dot includes e.key. So now we go through all of the slots, kind of like all of the numbers of the slots, and first of all, we reset their look, you could say, and this will all make sense when we test it out. Okay, so I just want to reset the slots, how they look like, and then the slot that the user clicked, I want to change that a bit. Okay, so it like stands out. So first of all, the slot number will be I, obviously, and the block to be placed is now going to be hotbar slot minus 1. Okay, so this is basically if I click 1, or let's say if I click 4, okay, it's going to go to the hotbar array, which is over here, and go to index 4 minus 1, because in those square brackets I got 4 minus 1, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, which is over here. Okay, so it's index 3, but it's like the 4th slot, right? Index 3, 4th slot. So let's go back to the key down function, which is over here. So after doing that, I want to change the properties, the same properties. I just want to say that the opacity is now 1, so it's not transparent at all. It's like fully opaque. And then its border is going to be 2 pixels, so 1 pixel wider, and this time it's going to be black. Okay, you can obviously change the colors, and you can make it stand out differently if you want. You can only change the border or something, or if you want, you can give it a tint. You decide. And then I also made it z-index 1 because I wanted to stand out more than the other slots. Okay, and it makes sense. So with that said, I think we are done with the code. Let's just go ahead and test it out. So save, refresh. So far, if I for example, if I click 4, okay, you can see it like made this stand out, and its border is black and it's thicker, and it's not opaque. Sorry, it is opaque. And for example, if I click 7, it's going to go to glass, and this oak leaf slot, it's now back to normal. Okay, and that's what this part of the code does. Okay, and this part of the code makes it so that the glass is now standing out. Okay, but now let's check if we can place a block. So let's just make a really nice quick bridge. So yeah, let's just make it out of planks, shall we? So you can see I'm placing some planks over here. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, pretty nice, right? And then I can also place like brick. If I go to glass, there's glass, cobblestone, dirt is, quite, dirt's right over there. That's dirt right there. And grass, once again, grass is right over here. And oak leaves, that's right over here. All right? And then oak log is right over there. Okay? And sand is there. So sand. And yeah, there you go. I just placed all the blocks. And like I said, if you want, you can put in stone. So if you want, you'll just have to change all of these. You'll have to change one of them to stone. For example, if you don't want plank, you can put stone over here and change that to stone. But then you'll have to change this to stone. You'll also have to change all of this to stone, and then this one to stone, and then that one to stone. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And with that said, I think that's the end of this video. It was quite successful. We can have a hotbar now, and we can place whatever block we want. We can make cool structures like you guys saw in the preview, and yeah, that's quite nice. So with that said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you really enjoyed, you can leave a like. If you haven't subscribed already, do so please, and leave any comments that you have in the comment section of this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.